In 1982, my guest became the first black British artist to appear on a major U.S. TV show. This paving the way for other black British acts to follow, and a lot of them did in recent years. He just released his 5th album called Stand Strong. Please welcome to Video Soul, Junior. How you doing, Junior? Is that your real name?
No, it's not, but I'll stick with it.
Are you a junior? Is that what it comes from?
Junior, yeah. I'm like the last of 7, you know. I've got older brothers and sisters, and they treat me like a junior, so I just stuck with the name.
Well, it works for you, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
Your look has changed. I mean, the picture we just showed a second ago is quite different from what we saw in the video before commercials.
Oh, please. Oh, please. Stop it. Stop it. No. Those days, Mama used to say days, I was young, Donnie. I was green. I looked the way I looked, and it was nice then. It was cute. But now I'm a bit older, and I'm still cute. But just wearing blue now.
But you look great, man. That's a nice jacket. I love your hat.
Thank you very much.
Your glasses are happening. You're always happening. But why this long layoff? We haven't heard anything from you in the last, well, 2 years? Or about a year and a half ago, actually, when your last album came out, wasn't it?
Well, the last album in total now, it's been like since, I think it's 87 was the last thing. Yeah, it's been that long. The last thing I had out was Yes, If You Want Me.
Right. That was 87?
That was 87.
Wow.
I took a long time because I'd left my previous record company after making that album. And I decided that I wanted to take time about what I was going to do. I didn't want to rush in and just go and sign a new deal, make some records and throw it out there just to keep the momentum of Junior up.
Right.
What I wanted to do was make sure that what people heard was what I wanted them to hear. What they saw was what I wanted them to see. So to be able to do that, I needed to come back into taking complete control, creative control.
And you had to change record companies in order to get that control?
Yes, I did. I did.
Why didn't you have it before? It seems like you had a lot of success. It seems that the record company would have given you that kind of control.
Well, I think at the beginning it started out like that. A lot of this has to do with I was signed to the English company, so they had most, you know, of the say-so over what was happening. For me, what was happening was when I started with Mama, I had complete control. So what you saw was what I wanted to give. As we went along, after the success of Mama, and everybody started to throw in their 2 cents worth on how they perceived it should go. After a while, I started to lose, if you like, a hold and a grip on what I was doing. So I was going along opposed to doing what I should be doing, which is to take more control, be aware of, and like Guy says, be a leader opposed to and have total control, which is what you need to have if you're going to be in this industry.
Did you know you were losing control of it then? Or do you kind of, I mean, or you get caught up in the success of things and don't really notice it until you look back at it later?
No, I think I actually knew. I think when you ask people for things that you know that you shouldn't be asking for, that's when you've lost control. And that started to happen, and I think I allowed it to go on for too long. And then when I did kind of like say enough is enough, everybody was like, so why? I mean, hey, it was cool for, you know, that period of time. Nobody could actually understand that what I needed was to be back into myself. I needed to get back into what Junior was about, not what everybody else figured that I was about. So I needed to take time out. I needed to make sure that what I wrote was coming from where I'm at the present moment. I needed to make sure that, like, instead of working with people who were very, very successful to give me a sound which would be in keeping with what people had originally heard, or not originally heard, but what people were hearing on the radio or in clubs, I wanted to come back doing what I always did, which was doing something slightly different to the norm, but just as bad, just as hard, and with this arrogant attitude that I had. I kind of figured it would work.
Well, it has. I think it's working real well. I've heard the album. Now, I know it's not out here in the States, but I ran across it at a record store in Japan about 4 or 5 months ago.
All right.
Why is it out there and not here yet?
Records become hits quicker in Britain than they do in America. For instance, if you put a single out in Britain, its lifespan is most probably 3 weeks.
What?
You heard.
3 weeks?
That's the lifespan.
Are you serious?
Seriously. So the lifespan of a single is 3 weeks. You have 3 weeks from the time of that record dropping for it to be a hit. Now, if it's a hit, you may have a further 2 weeks, which gives you 5 weeks.
No.
For real. So basically, you will find that people put albums out in Britain quicker than they will do here, and they will have 2 or 3 singles off the album when you're still into your first one, just because of the lifespan of the record being
That's incredible.
much shorter.
I'd never heard that. That's incredible. Just to give people at home some kind of perspective on this, in the States, a good single will last 13, 15, 16 weeks.
Exactly. Whereas the whole momentum of an album in Britain is that your turnover is very fast. Now, if you have a single, for instance, and it doesn't hit, then you can come back on the same single maybe a month, 2 months later. So for a year, you can keep coming back on the same single, keep re-releasing it, re-releasing it, re-releasing it, until you get a hit.
Weird.
It's funny.
You know,
sorry, I was just going to say, Prince, when he had out 1999, they released that record 4 times in Britain before he had a hit with it, right? And it's been like that with other bands and other artists as well.
That is a fascinating thing. You know, I look at charts from around the world sometime in a Billboard magazine. It's always amazing me to see the things, especially the old things that pop up on the British charts. And like a year or 2 ago, Jackie Wilson, High and Higher, was a smash. I mean, we're talking a top 5 record.
Well,
in London, the thing's from '67.
Britain, we have a weird ear, right? You'll find, like, if you think about it, going back to like the 60s with the Beatles, when the Beatles did We All Live in a Yellow... The Beatles.
You said the Beatles.
The Beatles.
Who are the Beatles?
You know the Beatles, the ones who did She Loves You.
Howard Beale? Oh, the Beatles.
The Beatles.
The Beatles.
The Beatles. Come on. You know, the ones who did She Loves You, yeah, yeah, yeah. She loves you, yeah, yeah. That lot.
Okay.
Right? Going back to them. They had a song out, and it was called We All Live in a Yellow Submarine. Now, let's be honest, who lives in a yellow submarine?
The Simpsons. I guess.
But it worked.
Yeah, right.
You know, I think going back to that time, we've always listened to records which have been really just fun records, silly little records and stuff. And then you get records which are great records, like Jackie Wilson said, right? And you know, Jackie Wilson's record. And at the time of them coming out back in the 60s, they didn't mean much to the public back then. They didn't hit. Coming back now at times, if you think that, I think that says a lot when records like that become successful, because it says that the actual songs themselves were really good songs.
Yeah.
Which, you know, Jackie Wilson had about 3 hits. Repetit was another one.
Yeah,
that was a number 1 record.
Recently, right.
Which was a number 1 record for him as well. Yeah. So, you know, in actual fact, you know, at home, it's a whole different kind of marketplace.
Yeah.
Strange marketplace.
Yeah, it's definitely strange.
Very strange.
Home of the Beatles.
The Beatles.
We're going to take a look at your video now, which I think is fantastic.
Thank you.
I really like the song a lot and hope it does real well for you. It's called Better Part of Me. This is Junior on Video Soul. That's jamming, isn't it? Better Part of Me. That is Junior on Video Soul. He's our guest today. That is so high. You always cut some hot tracks on your stuff. Do you do it yourself?
A lot of the time, I've got like a little 8-track at home. So what I do at home is I like play about and potter about. I'm a potterer. I like to mess about and see what I come up with. And then I'll come up with pretty much like a direction of where to go. And on Better Part of Me, I'd worked with a guy called Simon Law, the Funky Ginger. Right? He writes and does a lot of work with Soul to Soul too. And Simon's pretty much the same. So we had a lot of fun in like coming up with the shape and style of the song. But then it was remixed by Law Silas, who's an A&R director here for MCA. Right. And Law got hold of it and put into it what you hear, which is a very funky drummer kind of vibe, which I love. I love the movement of it. And on the CD 12-inch, you can hear all the different versions.
What is it going to take to make you really happen big here in the States? I mean, you had some success with Mama Used to Say, but to me, you know, for the music that you put on your album, I'm a fan of yours, as you know, and it's just, why hasn't this guy really broken big in the States? What is it going to take?
I think I need to be here now. I think I need to spend more time, make people aware of me, that they're seeing more of me. I think also that I need to play live. I need people to see that this is a live thing. It's not just like we record in the studio and then you see videos and then we go out and we do track dates. I'd rather not do any track dates, to be quite honest with you, and just come in the summer and play live with
You've
the
never
band.
played live here in the States?
No, never. I've always come in and done like either track dates or, you know, sang live to backing tapes or whatever else, which I don't find that very enjoyable. I actually find it being like, it's a bit of a cheat, to be quite honest.
Yeah. It's like lip syncing almost, isn't it?
Yeah, because I think if people pay money, I'm like, if people pay money to come and see you perform, I mean, people work hard, and then they get their paycheck, and then they go to see a show, and the person's lip syncing. They may be jumping up and down and dancing and whatever else, which is wonderful, but people pay to see the whole thing. You say that you're a singer or you write songs, then that's what you're supposed to give back. Yeah. That's what you say you are. And I've always felt that, like, doing like track dates and lip syncing, as much as I know how important they are, I've always felt that, like, until you actually go out and see an artist perform and then get some kind of, if you like, value of what the artist is worth, if you like, are they worthy of me going out and spending my money and buying them? I have to go out and prove that, I think, so that people understand that I'm deadly serious about this.
But the record has to hit first before you can do that, though, doesn't it? I mean, before you can bring your band over to play, you got to have a hit record.
You've got to have a hit record. Yeah. So I think that is the hardest part. Yeah. It's the matter of trying to get the hit record and then transmitting that into playing live. Yeah.
Well, I hope you get it. I hope you get them both. I would love to see you play here in the States live. I really
think you'd like it.
Oh, I bet I would.
I think you'd like it.
Well, good luck with the album.
Thank you very much.
When is it coming out?
Album's out now. It's on the street.
I was told it wasn't released on the street yet.
No, it's on the street. It's going to be, well, if it's not on the street, I want to know why. No, it is. Yeah. It is on the street. It came out, it's supposed to be officially released on the 15th of Feb. But I think there are a few about at the present moment. So if you get a chance, people, go buy it. The new Junior album, Stand Strong. Yeah, boy.
Thanks for joining us, man.
Pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Hey, Donnie.
All right. My man, Junior.
Thank you.
On Video Song.
All right.
We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Don't go away.
On the one.